All right, people, let's go. It's on. Andy Ruiz Jr., new unified champion versus Anthony Joshua 2. They're working on it behind the scenes right now, confirmed by Eddie Hearn. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Let's jump right into the content. If you're new, consider subscribing, smash the like button. Eddie Hearn posted this picture. It's Joshua after defeat. You know, some people thought it was an upset. To me, it wasn't an upset. I knew Andy Ruiz was goods. And stylistically, I looked at it. But enough about that. Eddie Hearns says on his verified page, after meetings with AJ and Rob McCracken and the management team in New York, we have today triggered the contracted rematch clause with Andy Ruiz Jr. The fight will take place in November/December at a venue to be confirmed shortly. And that's what it is. So they're pressing the rematch clause that was in the contract. Joshua wants to get his belts back. I have two different opinions on this. Well, it's not even two different opinions. It's really one opinion, but it's twofold. Me as a fan, it's boxing. So the first fight was good or entertaining. It wasn't really good in terms of being competitive to me. You know, Joshua got blown out by Ruiz. People forget this. So, and this is going to lead me into what I have to say. So it doesn't bother me. If they feel comfortable with the rematch, let's run it. You know, the first fight had people watching. It's a heavyweight fight. The first fight was action. You know, third round was a classic. Great. Don't like this move like this from Eddie Hearn for a variety of reasons. I just went live, so if you caught that, you'll know because I really went over it. But they just fought Saturday night, you know, in New York time. By the time you do your medicals and press conferences, post-fight press conference, it was Sunday. They're announcing on Tuesday, bright and early, that they've already discussed a rematch. And Eddie Hearn has made it a public thing. So Joshua is now involved in something that he can't get out of. And I think this was a bit selfish from Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, to be honest. And the pressure, if Joshua had sports psychologists ordered before this when he was winning, you just put 10 times, maybe 20 times more pressure on the man. It's not so much that you're choosing and opting to push forward with the rematch clause. It's how you went about it, you know. And it's funny because Eddie Hearns has, when Wilder announced that he was fighting Luis Ortiz, and then later he came back a couple of days later during Joshua Ruiz fight week and said he's fighting not only Ruiz, but he has a signed contract to fight Tyson Fury. Eddie Hearn basically insinuated as if he was just saying that, and he's like, oh yeah, we don't have a contract, or he's like, they don't have a contract. They're claiming it was signed. Where's the date and venue? He announced it on social media. Eddie Hearn just did the same thing and announced the rematch without a date, without a venue. Because if you had a date, you wouldn't say November/December. You would say November 15th, let's run it. You'll say December 3rd, we're fighting. So Eddie Hearn is very hypocritical here because he just criticized Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder for announcing his fight on social media. And he said basically like it was a publicity stunt because he said he was fighting Ruiz or Ortiz, excuse me. And he's like, where's the date? Where's the venue? Okay, where's your date? Where's your venue? So that's one thing. Two, Joshua, you see his face. We all know how it went down. Joshua went viral for a disastrous night, a mishap. I don't think the fight was even particularly competitive. It really wasn't. Joshua seemed intimidated. He seemed gun shy. The ring walk, he looked like he was walking out to a funeral or a public hanging, right? He just looked spooked. The moment, the pressure, nerves, jitters, whatever happened in training camp, which later came out that they said he was allegedly or rumored, since, you know, no one's going to confirm it with NDAs and stuff. He was hurt in sparring, had a concussion. His father, you know, made a beeline towards Eddie Hearn. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Eddie Hearn, I feel like, underestimated Ruiz. Joshua underestimated Ruiz, which was one of my 7 reasons why I picked Ruiz, right? Those types of things. And they were made to pay. Ruiz came to fight. He was able to get up after being put down. Joshua drew first blood and he jumped on him. Now they're thinking that, oh, if I don't make that one mistake, then it's all good. But you've already opened Pandora's box. You already gave Ruiz. Ruiz is getting picked up. If you look at his social media, he's getting picked up by like a stretch, like Rover or some shit, and he's getting picked up in a limousine. Let me see if it's here.
Good morning, all my fans, supporters, my family. I appreciate you guys. Everybody that
right here.
I'm gonna be on set on Jimmy Kimmel's show. Look what he got me by surprise.
Look he getting picked up in.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Look what Jimmy sent for.
Yeah, everybody tune in, Jimmy Kimmel's show later on.
So the bottom line is this man is experiencing all the fruits of his labor right now. I don't think he's eager to let this stuff go. That has to be a good feeling. You were doubted. Haters doubted you. You're holding all the belts. Jimmy Kimmel appearances. He was never getting this type of attention. When he was with Top Rank, he fought Joseph Parker. He never got this type of exposure and attention. Now his subscribers, he went from like 67,000 subscribers to almost 1 million overnight. Joshua, I could make you a celebrity overnight. So you know Andy Ruiz is not going to be in the rematch and coming to lie down or coming to so what I'm saying is you already opened Pandora's box. He has the belts now. He's in the driver's seat. He's the champion. He's loving this feeling. Now you're giving him a chance to not have a 5-week camp and get it done, but have a full 10, 12, whatever, just 8, 10, whatever length of time camp. He's going to have a fair shake at it. That's very dangerous. Joshua is under immense pressure, and it looked like he had problems handling pressure the first time. So it's more than just, oh, if I don't get caught with, I drew first blood and I hurt him in the 3rd round. Joshua's team has to be smart. But I think Eddie Hearn and DAZN and Matchroom are pushing Joshua to this, and it's so fresh. He might want to fight him in a rematch and try to get some get back. But I don't feel that's right for like, this man can't even have a Sunday dinner. And Eddie Hearns already admitted that he met up with Rob McCracken and AJ and the team, and he's doing a rematch. This is do or die now. I don't like that. I don't think that's good for I just don't think it's good, because now you just put a ton of pressure on him. Look, it said we're triggering the rematch November, December. Now let's look at it. He just fought June 1st. I'm not the smartest brother in the world. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So with press tours and press conferences, you're really giving him 4-5 months to figure out and figure out all the things that went wrong and correct them. So it has to be one shot, one kill. Joshua has to win here. And as far as, I don't know all the parameters and particulars of the contract, because I don't think they expected to lose, but obviously there's a rematch clause. But the thing is this, now Al Heyman and Ruiz are in the driver's seat. So Eddie Hearn keeps chirping about the fight being in the UK. If that wasn't specified in the contract, I cannot see how or why Andy Ruiz would fight him in the UK. That's probably what Joshua prefers, so he has that comfort zone. And that's probably what Eddie Hearn prefers, so they have that comfort zone and home court advantage. But Joshua is no longer the man. He just lost all his belts, and it wasn't even competitive. That's the other thing. It wasn't even competitive. So let me stay on track. So it wasn't even competitive, and he lost the juice. He lost the power by losing the belts. And if I'm Al Heyman and that wasn't specified that the rematch must take place in the UK, then I'll put the rematch in Mexico. I'll put the rematch in Vegas. I'll put the rematch in Cali, where Andy Ruiz is from. Make Joshua come back. So all the demons, all the intimidation from fighting in America and being out of your comfort zone, Joshua's going to have to figure all of this out in 4 to 5 months. So, I think this was a rush job. The other thing is it's clear that the fight hasn't been fully agreed upon. Obviously, there's contracts and rematch clauses and stuff like that. So it's going to happen. But you don't even have a date. Why rush to the public to show face? This looks like desperation. Don't like it. If anything, it's not that I'm so against the immediate rematch, but there's some things to consider and think about. You know, what if Joshua gets cold feet? Let some time go by. After stop, you already lost the belts. That's done. The fight's over. You know, let Joshua have some time to think about it. On my live stream, I compare this to being in a committed 8-year relationship or marriage, and then you guys break up, and then you break up on a Friday. By Monday, you're dating your coworker in another committed relationship, like a rebound relationship. Those things usually aren't good because you haven't even had time to let your nerves and let the heartbreak or whatever settle. So it might feel like a release. Oh, I'm with someone else and I don't know how to be single and stuff. So it might feel good, but then you didn't give yourself time to repair or recover. Joshua went through a bad night, a bad fight. You know, he looked spooked. He didn't look like himself. He, you know, made mistakes in there. His team was in disarray. The ring walk was awkward. He got dropped 4 times. People are saying he quit. There's a lot of pressure right now, a lot of pressure. And you're putting him right back into the mix. I would have gave him some time to at least consider if this is really what you want to do. But like I said, I think Barry Hearn, Eddie Hearn, you know, they have their relationship with DAZN and their Matchroom. That was their cash cow. So like, fuck that. We got to get this back. But this could be another Kell Brook situation, another David Price situation. David Price pushed for the immediate rematch and he got what he was looking for, lost again. That hurts you more. That hurts you more. Joshua's a good fighter. That hurts you more if you lose back to back, because then now it is proven that this wasn't a fluke. Tony Thompson proved that David Price shit wasn't a fluke. You know, and I think David Price even hurt him, Tony Thompson, in the second fight, but he still got stopped in the end. Now Joshua has to rewrite history. Same thing with Top Rank had a recent rematch. It was 2 rematches the same night. History repeated itself. It was Navarrete versus Isaac Dogbe. Dogbe was like, "Ni hao," you know, I'm gonna correct my mistakes, and then he couldn't, and he got stopped worse. You know, you look at Francisco Vargas rematch on that same card. He rematched against Miguel Berchelt. Then he lost the same way, got stopped, you know, was pulled out by his team, had to quit. They put so much pressure on Joshua, and now you're only giving him 4.5, 5 weeks, especially when you consider training camps and promotional tours and stuff like that. Now it's like, this is it. He has an opportunity to correct this, and if he fails, you actually have set him back further than anything else. And what I'm saying, it's not even so much that he's choosing to do the rematch, it's that you announced it within 2 days. You know, you got to be smart. It's like if a fighter knocks you down in a fight and you get knocked down, boom, maybe you should take a long count. If your legs aren't under you, give yourself a chance to do the long count. People want to jump right back up and jump right into the fire and then have a slugfest, and then they end up getting knocked out, you know? So I don't know, man. If Joshua had insecurities and panic attacks and things happened in sparring that were rumored, now that the man has beaten you and taken it from you, and he's enjoying life, you're putting him right back in the flames, you know. And I don't understand why Eddie Hearn would do this stuff to his people. Same thing with Kell Brook. Kell Brook fought Golovkin on the back of Chris Eubank not fighting Golovkin. Then for whatever reason, his undefeated welterweight, he offered him the fight with a middleweight. And I told you how that was going to play out. You've seen how it played out. It's not that Kell Brook is not a good fighter or skilled. It's like he's moving up 13 pounds for what? And he's fighting a known puncher who has offensive skills. And then his eye got messed up. Kell Brook ain't looked the same since. And then he lost again because the pressure was on him to fight who he should have been fighting at welterweight, which is Errol Spence. And then his other eye got messed up. You know, Kell Brook was in negotiations to fight Jesse Vargas, and Vargas at the time had the WBO belt before the Pacquiao fight. So Eddie Hearn could have had Kell Brook unify with Vargas, which is a far more winnable fight than moving up in one fell swoop and beating Golovkin, you know, at that time, coming off of a Kevin Bezier fight. Kell Brook wasn't even fighting the type of people that would prepare you for Golovkin or prepare you for Errol Spence. And, you know, now he's putting his new cash cow in that same peril. This is why people say Al Heyman like actually cares for his fighters and stuff, because you got to be smart. The rematch, if he really wants the rematch, that's cool. But I would, at the very least, I would give Joshua, because I don't have the contract in front of me, so I don't know. But usually there's a certain amount of months or a year, 8 months to a year you have to trigger the rematch. You're triggering it within 2 days. He just lost. Let the man spend time with his family. Let him think about what happened, watch the tape and stuff. How do you have time to do any of that if the rematch is announced that quickly? This was probably one of the longest flights back to the UK. That I used to live in the UK. That flight's like 15 hours. You know what I'm saying? So between the fight ending June 1st and then carrying over to June 2nd because it's a nighttime fight, and now by June 4th, you're already announcing it and you've already met up with the people. It's like a rebound relation. It's far too quick. I would have gave Joshua at least a couple weeks to process everything. It's a good word. Process everything. Watch the tape, stuff like that. Your emotion, you make decisions emotionally when shit is fresh. That's why sometimes you have to take a second back and woosah. Like I've seen fights when Tim Bradley knocked out Brandon Rios. He's like, oh, fuck it, I quit. And then he said he's not going to quit. Orlando Salido did that. That's why it's not good to make those decisions on, I'm retiring right now, unless you were already thinking about retiring or something like that. Because Brandon Rios came back and unretired. Orlando Salido said he was retiring, then he came back because you're emotional. It just happened. Eddie Hearn, he's doing a disservice to Joshua. And what if Joshua is just like, you know what? I'm not feeling confident, blah, blah, blah. Eddie Hearn already ran off and blabbermouthed and told the world that Joshua was rematching him. So now it's going to look even more like he ducked if the fight don't happen because of Team Joshua. Sad really. Now this is do or die. Ruiz has a full camp. Ruiz has confidence. Depending on what was written in the contract, Al Heyman might even have the power to dictate where it happens. Joshua seemed like he had a lot of nerves and jitters being in America fighting. And if this was not written where the rematch will take place or mandated that it has to take place in the UK, if I'm Al Heyman, if I'm Team Ruiz, I absolutely would not fight Joshua in the UK. Absolutely not. Because you look at Andy Ruiz's height and all those things. Look at Joseph Parker. When Joseph Parker fought against Joshua in the UK, he was not allowed to fight on the inside. He was doing some good work, and then that ref, it was an Italian ref that they hired that never reffed a big fight before, and he would not allow Joshua to fight, or he would not allow Parker, to fight Joshua on the inside. You see the inside work Andy Ruiz was doing. And Joshua was almost not even, his jab was lazy, and he was allowing Ruiz to get in on the inside. This is super high stakes. This is the pressure's on, do or die fight. And now you don't have the hometown advantage necessarily. So we're going to see. We've seen fighters bounce back from bad losses and set the record straight in the rematch, but I don't like how Joshua performed. I think he has some things, some kinks and bugs to work out. People are telling him Lennox Lewis and different people are telling him to leave his corner. It's just too fresh. It's all too fresh. I would have waited. They're saying he got knocked out by Joey DeWecco and sparring. This is too much going on right now. So I don't like that because it reeks of desperation. Even Lennox Lewis, he underestimated Hassan Rahman. He was made to pay, got knocked out. He got knocked out with one shot. It's easy for Lennox Lewis to be like, okay, I made a mistake. I dropped my guard, or, I fatigued. I didn't take him serious and he caught me. I didn't think he was that fast. That was one fail swoop. That was one shot. Joshua got kicked around the ring. Even Joshua's best round was his worst round, because his best round, he hurt Ruiz, and then Ruiz got back up and then hurt him and dropped him twice. So that was a Ruiz round. Ruiz basically won every single round. So this is not like Ward Kovalev and we need to figure out who won the rematch. There was no controversy. There was no problem with the stoppage. Joshua seemed out of it. He was spaced out. Ruiz won pretty much every round. I don't even know what round could you have given Joshua? Because the third round was his best work because he hurt Ruiz, but then he himself got hurt because he got careless. And then he got knocked down. So there's no way you could have scored that round when one person has 2 knockdowns and one person has 1 knockdown. You can't score it for the person who only scored 1 knockdown. There's no way. Ruiz definitely won the first round. Joshua was fighting timid, and Ruiz was bringing the fight to him, and Joshua was backing up as the taller man. So there's more things that need to be considered here. This wasn't Ward Kovalev where it was like back and forth. This was not Mayweather Maidana. It wasn't a fight like that. This was a blowout, and you about to put your fighter within 2 days of being able to process it right back in. Good luck. Shout out to Andy Ruiz. Shout out to Heyman. Shout out to Joshua for taking the rematch, but I wouldn't have had that conversation that quick. But to me, again, I don't think Eddie Hearn, he's thinking about it for his brand, his cash cow, his business, his relationship with DAZN. And to me, that's not a good move. You know, you got to be strategic. Yes, of course, you don't want Al Heyman to have control of the whole heavyweight division, but rushing it, you know, criticizing Wilder for announcing his fight via social media with no official date or venue. He's like, they don't even have a date or a venue. They don't have a date or a venue. How do we know it's true? You don't have a date or venue. And you did the same thing. Hypocrisy. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. New media. I told you we working, baby.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.